They try to press the buttons.
They push the buttons. They don't know that. It gets kind of exciting.
They probably don't even recognize this as a microphone.
No.
Wow.
My wife said it one.
And so these would have been hooked up to all individual households.
Yep. And then
Oh, it says don't touch. I'm sorry.
It changed the
Yeah, it's like a
different
guitar
lines.
cable. To change from house
And
to
it was,
house.
they were party lines. Probably six different households on one line. And then if your phone rang, everybody's rang. But you had probably so many numbers. If you had like 1121, you had one was two shorts, and then long was the two.
So everyone knew their ring.
Oh, every custom ring.
And everybody would listen. So if you had a date, everybody knew it.
Yeah. Word travels fast on the party line.
Yep, that was the party line.
Interesting.
The old phone directory.
And I remember 'em.
What else is back?
And then school stuff.
High school stuff, yep.
Last year we had the 100th anniversary of graduation classes. So people would come here from the school and they'd stand here and, reminisce. And they'd say, do you remember her? No, but I remember her. And that's the way they went for half hour to hour at a time.
Oh boy.
It was interesting.
Oh,
The spinning wheel?
Are you in any of these?
No.
oh, fire extinguishers from.
Not old enough?
Is it old?
No, I grew up in a country school. And this is businesses that were here. This particular filling station had these little houses behind it that he rented out for the evening or like a little hotel. And different businesses that were here. That is Davis Auto Body out on the highway today. There was a Shiv garage. The Ford garage, that's all gone.
Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
All the toys. Some of them are over 100 years old.
Dominoes from the 1900s. 1909.
Little dollhouse bed.
Fishing stuff.
Tools.
Our creamery.
Farm equipment.
That was here, it is no more.
Oh, creamery?
And the tools from way back in time, and car parts, hubcaps from cars years ago.
Wow. Quite a wealth.
Military.
Korean War.
Wow.
Sergeant Anderson.
Swede Anderson. Must have been Swedish. Well, Anderson.
My uniform.
I've got one
That
of
one's
those.
yours?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. You were a rifleman.
Yep, I spent 6 years with Uncle.
Uncle Sam. Oh, and then what are the medals? Okay, that one's for rifle. See where?
I think it says pistol as well.
That was when I was in basic. And from basic I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, track vehicle maintenance for 16 weeks.
Okay.
Then I was transferred down to Fort Hood, Texas, assigned to the 67th Armored. That was Patton's outfit during World War II. And we went from here to Germany. And I had 16 weeks of maintenance, track vehicle. I had a license for everything we had. And when I got out there working with our motor sergeant in our company, he didn't like me, so he sent me to 3 weeks weapons.
Ooh.
So I had all the knowledge of 16 weeks, but I only got MOS for 3 weeks of weapons.
It's funny how it works.
No.
But then when I
Political.
got back from that school, our battalion quartermaster, what they could call it. Anyway, I drove truck the rest of the time I was out there. Because I had a license.
That works out well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How long were you in Germany?
a little over a year. That was the best time of my life. I met my great-grandmother out there. And she was 99
Your
at the
great
time.
grandmother. Wow.
And her family out there.
So they sent you to your homeland, basically.
Well, I was born and raised here, but
Oh,
my
with your aunt, yeah.
my grandfather was born out there, and then he came here,
Interesting.
her son. This here weapon is a Vietnamese weapon,
Okay.
crossbow. One of the fellows from town here was given that by one of the servicemen out there. They fought together. The Vietnamese and our soldiers fought together.
Oh, okay.
And one of them gave him that. And shortly after he received it, he was killed. And his body was sent back here. He was already buried and gone. His buddy had it, and he sent it to his folks.
Oh.
And then his mother died, then we got it.
Very rich history here.
Yes. What is this powder? Is that gunpowder?
It says Omaha. It's
Nope,
probably sand
that's,
from the beach.
Sand from Omaha Beach. Who knows how many gallons of blood went through that
Oh.
from the war?
Where was Omaha Beach?
Japan, wasn't it?
Okay.
Camel cigarette.
So,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
and, Turtle Lake was surveyed, the beginning of Turtle Lake was surveyed by a Civil War veteran. And his name was Worthy Prentice. He came to Turtle, well, he lived in Clayton, but he came to Turtle Lake and surveyed the village. And in '39, I met him. I remember the man.
Worthy apprentice.
Prentice. I can't talk.
And our kitchen,
Oh, switchboard.
Is it a working kitchen?
no.
Oh.
It's an
The
antique.
refrigerator doesn't work.
Old phonograph.
Ammonia. The doll here, that was my wife's toy when she was little.
Oh.
And the little red one, I found that in the dump, and I took care of dumps around the area.
Things people throw away.
Things.
Yeah. A lot of stuff that's in here was,
I'd love to have a stove like that.
yeah, it's all in the 30s.
Looks like an old schoolhouse recreation back here, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Teacher.
And the blanket here to your left
Nice.
was made by 3 or 4 women from Clayton, Turtle Lake, and Clear Lake.
Wow.
And for some reason it disappeared. We knew of it, but nobody knew where it went. And when we got the museum started, a fella called my wife from out Seattle, Washington. His mother had passed away, but she helped make it. And he wanted to know if we'd want it because he had no use for it.
Wow.
Well,
So it came back
yes.
home.
We'll take it.
Yes.
So Clayton,
Came home again.
Turtle Lake,
There.
Turtle Lake businesses. These ladies got together and made it up.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yes.
And this was done by some ladies here in town at the Centennial.
Oh. It's a newer one. It looks a little newer.
No, I wasn't one of them.
Oh,
There used to be a theater.
We had a theater. The building was right alongside the post office, the big tall building.
So it's still there.
That was the theater.
Okay.
It was built in about 48,
New Lake Theater.
and it burned in 53.
Oh.
this.
Yeah, wow.
That was given to us by a doctor in St. Paul.
A roundhouse.
Oh.
That looks like the roundhouse off Central Avenue, actually. But I suppose roundhouses look similar.
Well, back at the beginning, Turtle Lake had a roundhouse. We had 2 trains go through, the Sioux Line and Chicago Northwestern.
Does this run?
Yeah, it runs.
Wow.
It's usable.
Huh.
But
Fascinating.
it's too delicate. For
Yeah,
my eye.
yeah.
Untouched.
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
Barber
We
shop.
have nice, modern that thing.
Oh dear.
I saw one of those
Sure.
in the antique store window in Amory, and I thought, oh, somebody probably just put it together to replicate the old.
No,
But it's an actual, that's how they used to build them.
this had rotted wood on top when I picked it up. Put it back together.
People must have been very small. I can't see very big people use it.
There's enough room in there for you.
Oh, thanks.
We need somebody to demonstrate it.
Oh, boy.
And then we had what they call the plaster doctor, Dr. John Kill. He was an unlicensed doctor, and he had a recipe of a plaster that he put on people's backs, and it was supposed to cure their arthritis and rheumatism and different things. And he had a hospital just out of town here on Lake Camellia.
Convicted of
Did it-
practice.
And we had a fella here in town by the name of Bert Hart. He had livery stable. And he had all kinds of buggies. And he hauled people. And at that time, when that was in about 1918 or 20, there was 26 passenger trains came into Turtle Lake in a day.
Ooh.
To get the plaster healing?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the trains brought them and they took them away. A lot of people had help, but a lot of people didn't. And they said that plaster would make her back just raw, bloody raw.
Ooh. But then other people had helped?
There was people that helped. He got stopped 2 or 3 times because he didn't have a license. But he really wasn't dealing with medicine.
Interesting.
So somehow he wiggled out of it. That building stood where the library is today. That was his apartment house where people could stay while they were here. That came out of the post office. Some of the names are still people that are around here.
So it's like a prehistoric post office box, basically.
Yeah.
Love it.
Wilson, Reed.
But there's Gamash and Dode, and some of those people are still bunkered. The lady next door in the house next door, she's related to the bunkers that came to Turtle Lake back in 1900.
Like this
Teeth.
medicine.
There's real
making,
teeth. Real
wow.
teeth.
You make your pills there.
Huh.
No, wait. No. What these are.
Wow.
Baby scale.
Oh.
It's an incredible place.
I love that water cooler.
Yeah. But back then, when that was used, everybody used a cup. Now you wouldn't dare.
No.
Everybody's got to have a different cup.
Yeah.
But we drank out of them. We never got sick. If one got sick, everybody was sick.
So they just scoop it out, drink it, and put it back in. Huh?
Probably strengthened your system somehow.
You had to
Might have
scoop
made
it down
a
here.
better
so you
immune
just
system. Oh,
Took the
Oh,
cup
okay. Yeah. I
and
like this.
filled the cup. See that?
Oh,
I wish I had the cover for it, but I don't.
yeah.
But there was a cover for it. But that's how everybody lived. And that was one of the first stores here in town.
oh, the original sign.
Yeah.
And that, when the store
Calendar.
was taken down, the sign went to Barron, to the Barron County Museum. And when we got this started, they thought, well, it's part of Turtle Lake, we got it back.
Is that one of the original Turtle Lake signs as well for the railroad?
Railroad crossing, all of
That
that.
was the sign off of the depot.
Ah.
Then in 45, we had a train accident. The Sioux line came through from the west and hit the Chicago Northwestern coming into town. And the engineer on the Sioux line was killed. He was crushed under his engine. And they said that was full of steam. And the whistle blew until it was no more pressure left. And it was just, you could just hear it dying. They said it was just weird. And the conductor, he was
look at that
buried
wreck.
in coal.
Quite a wreck.
And his feet were hanging out. And somebody seen the movement of his foot. So they dug him out. He still had his pipe in his mouth and it was lit.
Oh,
When
wow.
they dug him out, they took him to Amory to the hospital. He came back and he was walking around.
Huh.
Oh,
That's miraculous.
wow.
This young fella here is this fella today.
Oh, wow.
1945.
Wow.
Yeah. He lives in Maine, but he was here last year, the year before, and he gave us that picture because he recognized his picture.
Incredible. That's incredible.
It's interesting when you start talking to older people that used to live here.
Definitely.
Hybrid seeds?
Yeah. And the printing press is from the original, one of the original presses from Turtle Lake Times. It printed the Bugle. But I have the very first one, which is this one. That's a lot bigger, but I haven't restored that. I restored this here one. It lay behind the printing office for many years and just laying there.
Wow.
In fact, a tree grew through this one.
Oh, I see that, yeah.
I cut it out. I wish I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Grew
kind of.
through
That
it.
was
Wow.
I saved it now.
unique.
Yeah.
But they were laying behind the building. That's the building there, and the fellow that runs it, he told me to come and get him because somebody wanted to drag him off for scrap iron,
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
and he knew I was interested in history.
I'm so glad you saved a lot of this stuff
thank you
because
for that.
that's what people do. They just liquidate anything precious,
Yeah.
just turn it
A
into.
lot of the stuff that's in here, I bought in because I've been collecting ever since I'm 10 years old.
Wow.
So
Extraordinary.
we when we had the opportunity to buy this from Lampert's, my wife and I talked to them. We drove down to the city, talked with the manager, and we could get it for $10,000. It was listed for $40,000.
Okay.
He wanted to know what we wanted with it, and we told him for a museum because this was built in 1900. And so he talked to one of his people, and they come back and they told us we could get it for $10,000.
Excellent.
Well, we went to the bank and we couldn't get the money. We went to the village, and of course, the village thought it was a big deal. They got it. They didn't want us in here, in fact. We fought to get in here, but they got the rest of it. They're using it for storage. We've got stuff that in there that we could start out. The first boarding house in Turtle Lake was the Turtle Lake House.
Okay.
And I have furniture in there that would portray the Turtle Lake House.
Oh.
We don't know what it looked like, but it would.
Yeah.
We could make it look that way. All the way up
would be
to
cool.
Yes.
2000, when Lloyd Huffman had a parts store here in town for automobile parts. I can take it back to Bert Hart. I have a top buggy. I have blacksmith tools and stuff. I can take it right on up.
You can do some incredible
Stage by stage.
recreations of the whole. Wow.
You could do photographic ones.
Well, yeah, they have
Like
a lot
models.
of photos, but
Yeah.
to do the actual, like
Yeah.
a stage
We've got all that stuff.
Sometime if you wanted to do.
in storage.
We've got all that stuff in storage, but the village won't let us in there.
Why?
Well, eventually, maybe
That's
when the
right.
time is right, they can.
Yeah. Wonder what they.
What they're holding back for? Well, who knows? Who knows?
If you folks are interested in history,
Yes.
We are.
we are. I'm not positive. I can look it up. I think we're the 17th at 9 in the morning. We're having a meeting.
Okay. The historical
You're
society.
welcome to join
Want
us
to
right
do
here.
that?
That would be interesting.
Right here in the meeting, in our building here.
Is it a Saturday?
Let me see when the 17th is.